Good morning, everyone. This is Ron Torres bringing you some tips for creating effective presentations as part of VOIM210 Office Technology Software 2. There are a lot of presentations out there in the world, and what differentiates a good one from a bad one? And most people can say, I know it, or you know it when you see it. And for our Week 3 discussion, well, you'll be asked to search the presentation sharing sites like SlideShare and SlideBoom and select one good presentation and one that may be not so good, and respond to the following items. Discuss why you selected that particular presentation. Explain the positive aspects of the presentation, explain the negative aspects of the presentation, and base this on what you've learned in the past 3 weeks. Describe how this PowerPoint presentation, the one that you picked out, could be improved. And you'll need to be specific, so we'll have to dive deeper than simply, I know it when I see it. And one way to do that is to review some effective presentation tips, and we have some good ones from our friends at Microsoft. One of their first tips is to minimize the number of slides, and you want to do this to maintain a clear message and keep your audience attentive and interested. Keep the number of slides in your presentation to a minimum. Their next tip, again thinking of the audience, is to choose a font style that your audience can read from a distance. Choose the right font style, such as Helvetica or Arial, that helps get your message across. Avoid those narrow fonts that are tough for those people in the back of the room to see. And when we think about fonts, we have to remember the size. If our audience is in a presentation room, let's think of the size of that room, and that'll help us determine the font size we should use. And here are some recommendations. And when it comes to the text on that slide, Microsoft suggests keeping your bullets simple and your sentences short. You'll want to do this so that your audience is listening to you rather than reading the screen. In addition to text, most presentations today also have art, and we'll want to make sure that the graphics we use help to tell a story and don't overwhelm the audience. And here's a couple examples of slides with graphics that are quite overwhelming. And many of the presentations you'll review will include charts and graphs, and we need to have those be understandable and have labels that are very comprehensible. And as we've learned here in the first 3 weeks, the slide themes that we choose have a great impact on our message. So we want to make sure that backgrounds are subtle and that they're consistent throughout the entire presentation. Below are 2 slides that I found that don't quite measure up to this. One tip from Microsoft talks about the contrast between the background color and the text. And we want to select a theme where we have that great contrast. And I found some examples below that are quite frankly difficult to read. And always, always be on the lookout for spelling and grammar mistakes, because if these are included, it's one way to ruin an otherwise great presentation. That'll do it for this short video for our Week 3 discussion. And now I think we can identify specific positive aspects and negative aspects of different presentations that we find on these 2 sites. Using tips like these and others that you find on the internet, you can almost create a rubric, and that way grade the slide presentations based on these kinds of elements. And we don't have to rely on knowing a good presentation from a bad presentation based on simply what we see. As always, if you have any questions, post them up in the appropriate discussion forum, and I'll get right back to you. Thank you all, and let's have an excellent week.